Well, good afternoon, this is Hound Dog Steve wishing you a very pleasant afternoon. And here we are, we're getting ready to turn into fall in a couple of days, and there's been quite a few changes that have been taking place around the old homestead here. So I'm going to take you on a quick walk around, and I'm going to introduce you to my new puppy. Oh my god, I bought a German Shepherd puppy after my bad experience with the dog that was given to me. I decided to just bypass the whole thing and splurge, and boy oh boy, Jasmine is her name, and let's go take a quick look around the garden and see what's happening. Okie dokie, here we go. Well, there she is, just 10 weeks old and just as cute as a button. And you know, she hasn't cried. Maybe a couple of little whines when I put her to bed at night time, but you know, she has been absolutely wonderful. So as you can see, my garden is put back together again. We found not a well, well, we did find the well, but we found the well lines first, and so they run under the woodshed, and when I have finished my wood for this season, I will be uncovering the top of the well because it needs a foot valve. Other than that, we are good to go, and I can water my garden next year. And so as we walk into the greenhouse, the tomatoes are still producing like crazy. I just picked I don't know, about 2 dozen the other day. It's like a jungle in here. Strawberries are going nuts, as you can see. They seem to really like it in here. And of course we got tons of peppers still. I can't believe how much this little corner has produced in the way of peppers. And basil, of course. And of course here are the beets. Still eating those. I'm going to have some beets tonight, and of course beet greens. These will keep growing right on into the fall, late fall actually. Now we did have some frost action, and I'd rolled back the top canopy of my greenhouse, and so the tops of these tomatoes did get burnt by the frost. Okay, so potatoes have been dug up in this patch. And we're going to come back to this in a minute, because you'll see that I've set something up here, and yes, I'm going to explain that. But these are the potatoes that I got out of this bed, and this is out of the other bed. So I would say, I haven't weighed them up, but I would say there's probably about 40 pounds of potatoes there, and I still have this bed to dig up. Yeah, we've been cleaning out the squash beds. That's all ready to go into the compost. And this is the haul from the squash. The orange ones, of course, are Algonquin pumpkins, and Catherine, if you're watching this video, I wouldn't mind a quick note as to how to store these babies. And of course there's butternut and 3 little acorn squash. Look at that. Now I'm still pulling carrots. Made some stew last night from the carrots. Lots of marigolds. And you will see, even though I had these sheets to protect the plants from the frost, they still got bitten. And there you go, there's the peppers. I think they're just about done for. I can harvest those, but what? Are you helping? There's no raspberries this time of year, but again the plants are doing extremely well. and when these leaves fall off I will be trimming them back. And basically what you do is you cut out the 2 or 3 largest stems coming out of your raspberry plants, and that will allow for new growth. And you see that one there is just about done. It's looking kind of shaky, so that'll all get trimmed out for next year, so we'll have plenty of raspberries again. This is the last bed of potatoes that was planted. And yes, you can see the frost damage here. Now I covered the beans. The beans seem to be okay, but I covered the beans with a sheet, and you can see it got the uppermost leaves, but I don't think they're dead yet. I think we might still get some beans off here. But these are unbelievable producers. I mean, just look at the beans in there. So I'm going to start picking these and blanching them and doing them down for winter. Now, what I always find interesting is that the herbs tend to be frost proof. Look at the mints are doing just fine. The bee balm, basil, nettles, sage, chives, rosemary. I think they all have some kind of antifreeze in them. Anyway, we'll be picking those herbs for quite a while to come. And of course the kale. The kale loves this kind of weather, so you would expect it to be coming on strong at this time of year. And again, I'll be eating the kale right the way into November. It's been a good crop this year. Okay, so what's going on here is, I don't know about you, but I find that I can't store my potatoes right the way through the winter, because they start sprouting, they get soft. And then I saw this little trick on YouTube, and I thought I would share it with you because I think it's a brilliant idea. And so after you've harvested all of your potatoes and washed them and allowed them to dry, you dig a trench in your bed. That's about, I'd say, a foot and a half deep, and then you line that bed with straw, and you put your dried potatoes in that straw, and then with the remaining straw you're going to cover that up, and then you're going to heap the soil on top of that. And I'm going to put a tarp over it with a small slit in the top to allow for ventilation, but it'll keep most of the water off. Now this should work because, you know, carrots, you can bury carrots in sand and keep them fresh all winter. And I would say that when this is done, you are going to have around about a foot or a foot and a half of insulation around those potatoes. And if we get a good snow this year, it will insulate it even more. So I'm going to try this out, and I'm hoping that I can keep these potatoes fresh and usable right into next year, because I can assure you that the center of this, now that it's warmed up over the summertime, it will hold that heat for a long time. So that's what we're doing with our potatoes to store them. So you can see all the potatoes are tucked away in there, nice and safe and sound, and covering with a good layer of straw. Now, I don't know if you can see that on the potato, those little lumps and bumps there. Okay, that is called potato scab. There's nothing wrong with it, it's not poisonous, you can just cut it off with a potato peeler, and it is caused by over fertilization. And I guess I just had too much fertilizer in my soil, and it's really more a disfiguration more than anything else, but you can peel that away just like you would normally peel a potato, and that will all come off. It's not poisonous. There is no harm to humans from potato scab. So yeah, just in case you're ever wondering what that is, and because when I first saw it, it's like, wow, ugh, that looks horrible. But it's not soft, it's dry, hard. It's just like potato skin, and as I say, it's caused by over-fertilization. And there you go, I just have to lay a tarp over that, and the potatoes are safely buried away. Oh, nice and dry in a nest. I can see how the straw will help with humidity. And I wonder if this will work for you, because I think this is a problem that many people have, because I really just don't have the storage space, firstly, and on top of that I don't have the right conditions to store potatoes properly, which is just above freezing. So let's hope this works. The other thing is, I forgot to mention, is that you want to shake this straw up and break it all up into light fluffy, because that's what we're doing, is we're trapping the air, and all of these beds were completely turned over to aerate the soil, so everything is nice and light, and again, it's that air that is the great insulator. So don't forget, shake up that straw really well, make a nice little bed, make it cozy enough that you might want to lie in it. There you go. And there you go. 2 beds done. 2 beds to go. And the other thing that's changed is, looky here, all of the sheds are taken down, and I'm getting ready for my renovation. The wood is purchased, and so I'm glad I got this taken care of. Won't be long. And you can tell we had a frost by the light catching the reds, golds and browns of the maple tree. That's the dying embers of the sun. But yep, it definitely had a good frost. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little presentation, and again, apologies for not making more videos, but you know, it has just been so busy with the CV lockdown, and I keep hearing rumours of another lockdown coming here in Canada, more akin to what's happening in Australia, in Victoria, which is really like a gulag now. There are curfews, so you can't move more than 5 kilometres from your home. It is absolutely awful. And so I'm getting ready to hunker down. That's why I bought the wood for my sheds already, all the materials that I need to build, because if we get locked down, I want to have plenty to do on my property. And once again, this is another great reason to prep with food. Do down as much as you can, preserve as much as you can, because this, according to the Farmer's Almanac and what I've been reading from actually Adapt 2030, is a great channel talking about the grand solar minimum coming up. And so we are going to have, it sounds like, a long cold winter this year. Lots of snow. La Nina has kicked in apparently, which usually means a wetter season rather than a drier season. So we can expect snow, we can expect ice, we can expect rain, we can expect everything coming at us this winter time. And if you happen to get shut down or locked down and you can't travel, it is just nice to have some fresh vegetables stored in the garden. Like I say, fingers crossed, I'm hoping those potatoes work out, but there's plenty of squash there, and of course the tomatoes. Now I don't actually do the tomatoes down per se. What I do is I put them into stews, and then I will freeze the stew. So I have about 30 or 40 ready to go meals frozen in the freezer, and of course that can be shared with Jazz, my pup, and so she will have something to eat as well as I do. And that's something to remember: if you have pets, think about what they're going to eat if you get locked down, or you can't, or the food's just not available. A lot of these plants, you know, just like the meat plants and the vegetable packing plants, transportation, all of this kind of stuff has gotten shut down, the migrant workers, because of the spread of CV, and this is interfering with the flow of food. And to be quite honest with you, I don't want to be eating Soylent Green. And those of you who are old enough to remember that movie will know that Soylent Green turns out to be the rendered slime from the people who died. A protein slime. Soylent Green. Not in my world. The only green I'm going to eat is out of my garden. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like, comment and subscribe below, and I promise there will be more videos coming up. I've got more time now, and the night's drawing in, so I will be getting down to it as my outside chores diminish and my inside chores can pick up again. And in the meantime, this is Hound Dog Steve signing off, wishing you a very pleasant evening, and we'll talk very, very shortly. You take care now. See ya. Bye.